Hello everyone, welcome to the Storyist. Today I will be sharing with you a story about a crazy lady who tries to steal a PlayStation 5 from a black teenager. She calls the police on him, thinking that she would get away from her wrongdoing. But then something incredible happens. Stay until the end of the video to find out how the crazy lady pays for her heinous act. Jerry is a straight-A student in his school. He is so intelligent that in fact he belongs to the highest section in their level. Everyone admires Jerry in his high school, not only because of his good grades, but also because he is a very nice, polite, and generous young man. Jerry is now in high school, and even though he is a black teenager studying in a community where white people are more populous, he does not feel discriminated against. All his teachers are also very kind and nice to him. And as much as possible, they don't want Jerry to feel like he does not belong. He is the best asset their school can have, not only when it comes to academics, but also in esports. Jerry might be an intelligent young man who loves reading books and studying at home, but there is also one other thing Jerry is extremely good at: playing video games. Playing video games started out as a hobby for Jerry until he realized his potential and started playing online competitions. Jerry grew up in a poor household. His family barely had anything to eat. But despite that, his parents were never bad to him and his siblings. Because Jerry had no money at all, he focused his attention on reading their school textbooks and seeking for knowledge. He enjoyed studying. But what also inspired him to keep learning was the fact that he wanted to help his family out someday when he finally landed a good job. He was only thinking about his studies at the time and how he could help his family earn more money. He did not try doing what other kids in his neighborhood would, as he knew his family would not have any money to buy him toys and other normal stuff children play with. But then, one day, he stumbled upon a friend's house. His friend was rich, and he was playing video games at that moment. Jerry peeked from his friend's window, and then his friend's mother recognized him. "Hi, Jerry, do you want to come in?" asked the mother politely. Jerry was a shy little boy growing up, but that was also one of the reasons why many people loved him in the neighborhood. The mother ushered him to her son, and the two played. Jerry did not know at the time what a PlayStation was, but his friend introduced him to the games. That was when Jerry realized that he loved playing that PlayStation. But then the problem was he did not have his own. After a whole day of playing with his friend, he went home that day and stayed silent about his newly discovered love for video games. Since that day, Jerry would go to visit his friend every weekend so they could play on his PlayStation. What his rich friend's family noticed about him, though, was that he was really good at the games on the PlayStation. He would always win against other players, and he would dominate the ranking. Too bad he did not have his own PlayStation, though. He was not able to keep his high ranks up. Jerry had always thought of this as a hobby, and playing video games was never a priority for him. That was until there came an esports tournament inside their school. Jerry was trapped by his rich friend to represent their class, as he knew Jerry would ace it. And he did. He made it to the finals and won a gold medal for their whole class. Starting then, Jerry had always been their school's bet when it came to esports tournaments, competing against other schools. When Jerry's parents knew about this, they were delighted and overjoyed that their son was not just a smart young boy, but also a talented esports player. But of this, his parents were also guilty that they couldn't give Jerry a PlayStation of his own, so he could master his skills even better. So his father worked double shifts to save for his PlayStation. Fast forward to today, 3 years later. Jerry is now a multi-medalist in the esports industry, and he has also started earning money of his own through esports community sponsorships. He is planning to save enough from these sponsorships so he can buy his PlayStation after his 16th birthday. But when his birthday comes, his parents surprise him with a brand new PlayStation 5. Jerry is beyond tears, realizing that his parents worked really hard just to give him that PlayStation. Jerry promised to treasure that PlayStation forever, as it was the most precious and thoughtful gift he has ever received from them. Since then, Jerry has used the PlayStation all the time. Despite his hobby, he still makes sure that he is never behind in his studies. So he balances his time between studying and enhancing his video game skills. In just a span of 3 months, Jerry wins 3 consecutive gold medals, and he is capturing a lot of attention in the gaming industry. Finally, Jerry feels like he is about to move his family away from the life they once lived. Soon enough, Jerry earns enough, and he and his family leave their old hut and all together move to a better apartment complex. Jerry continues playing and studying, at the same time holding both his academic standing and his esports ranking steady in the past few months. Jerry also starts getting recognized by other people who are in the same industry as him, or even ordinary people who are into the gaming world. Soon enough, Jerry establishes his own name as one of the youngest gold medalists in the field. Everyone loves him, even though he is black, and not once did he feel any discrimination from his peers. And then, this happened. As Jerry's old neighbor moves out, a new one moves in. Her name is Karen, and she hates having a black family next door. The first time she sees Jerry, she immediately hates his guts. She will sometimes cover her nose when she's encountering Jerry in the hallway. In other words, she is rude towards Jerry and his family. She believes that the family next door is filthy and that they don't belong in their apartment building. One Saturday morning, as Karen goes home from shopping, she notices that the door to Jerry's home is ajar. She tries to peek in and sees that Jerry is playing with a PlayStation 5. She knows that the thing is really expensive. And judging the family, she knows too well that Jerry just stole the PlayStation 5 from someone in their apartment building. So she waits until Jerry goes out to buy his lunch food, and she sneaks in. Once inside, she steals Jerry's PlayStation and calls the police. When Jerry gets home to his house, he is devastated to find his PlayStation missing. He freaks out, knocking on every neighbor's door to ask if they saw someone who stole his PS5. Karen is laughing maniacally inside her apartment when Jerry knocks on her door too. She confidently opens and asks Jerry what he wants. "I'm sorry to disturb you, miss, but have you seen someone who took my PlayStation 5 from our apartment?" he politely asks, afraid not to pull any trigger from Karen, as he is well aware that she dislikes him. "Are you saying I'm a thief?" Karen replies in defense. Jerry calms her down and says that he is not accusing her about the crime. "If there's a thief here, that must be you, obviously," Karen adds. Jerry gets confused by her words. "What do you mean, me?" asks Jerry, and Karen replies that he looks like someone who can steal anything. A minute later into their conversation, the police that Karen called arrive. Karen greets them and tells them about a stealing that just happened. Confused, Jerry thinks that the police will be looking for his PlayStation. But then Karen tells the police that Jerry stole the PlayStation and she is just going to give it back. Jerry is so shocked to hear this, and he is about to explain when the police officer recognizes him. "Wait, are you Jerry from esports?" asks the police. Jerry nods, and the officer's face lights up. "I'm a huge fan, man! You must be rich by now," says the police. Karen stands behind them, shocked, absorbing what is happening. Then, the other police officer tells Karen about Jerry's source of income. When they spot Jerry's PS5 inside Karen's apartment, they immediately arrest Karen for breaking into Jerry's home. She tries to explain, but it is too late for her. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you in the next. Stay tuned.